So I wanted to read back to you a tweet that you put out on Twitter. It was viewed, Elon added our view count. You had a view count of over 77,000 times. And it says this. Okay, so my son's gym teacher told the class that Michael Jordan wasn't that good and would only score 10 points a game in today's league. Not sure what to do about this. Either pull my son out of school or get up and absolutely lose it at the next school board meeting. Okay, I really think something about you that stands out to me is that you are very funny. Would you agree?
Well, thank you. Thank you. Oh, absolutely. Now my family members might not. That's the sad thing. So I have to go to Twitter to get the affirmation that I don't get at home. You know, the prophet has no honor in his home? Yeah, that's the
I am here for you. Yes, I'm here for you. I will hit like every time. But I wanted to ask you, is that something that you intentionally try to bring to the online space, or is it just kind of how you naturally communicate in life is like through humor?
well, yeah, I make a lot of dumb comments and it's a numbers game, right? Because you got a lot of dumb jokes, but once in a while you say something funny. And that's my strategy. But no, honestly, I think I go on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it now, and I see all the controversy swirling around. What is it now?
It's supposed to be called the app formerly known as Twitter. So that's how my friends at like news agencies, that's how they refer to it. The app formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, because if you say X, no one knows what you're talking about. Anyway, but I go on there, I see the controversy du jour, what everyone's fighting about, and then I get all opinionated. I want to chime in, and then I realize this isn't worth it. I'm just going to make a dumb joke. So yeah, I wish I could say there was more intentionality to it than that, but that's pretty much my MO.
Do you ever find yourself actually, I want you to talk to me a little bit about that. Do you sometimes want to share your opinion on controversial things on Twitter? Well, walk me through that. How do you decide? How does Drew Dick decide what to post and what is too far? Who's making that call for you? Is that something you do on your own? Do you show it to somebody?
I wish I had a sophisticated grid for that decision, but it's more of a gut thing. Yeah, and I've said some things. Sometimes I go, "Oh, that wasn't worth it," even if I agree with myself, because you just go, "It was that." And actually, I think we could all use a little more restraint in this area, honestly, because especially like pastors. Okay, so it's like we don't need to hear your opinions on foreign policy, probably, unless that's your like area, right? Um, but there is this temptation, I think, when you get online, is just like, "Oh, I need to share my opinion on everything." And sometimes a little restraint is good.
So give me your thoughts on this. And this has nothing to do with my interview questions. I'm just genuinely curious now that we're on the topic. I was speaking at a conference in DC last week, and one of the ladies, I was speaking to a bunch of pastors. I shouldn't say pastors' wives, that would be inappropriate. Spouses, because there was a man in the room. There was one man. So I was speaking to a bunch of pastor spouses, and one of the ladies said, "Hey, what are your thoughts on like, do we always have to make a statement?" She was saying her kids are constantly saying, "Hey, like, Dad, you've got to make a statement. This is happening. You got to make a statement." What are your thoughts, Drew? Do we always have to make a statement?
I would say no, but I mean, of course, sometimes you do, right? Because I mean, the ultimate example is like, okay, Christians and Christian leaders in Nazi Germany in the 30s, they said, right? Some did. So there are some times when something rises to the level of like, I can't stay silent anymore, and especially area in which you're educated and you're passionate. But I think the danger is you just kind of watch the news and jump on the latest bandwagon and give your opinions that may not be fully fleshed out. They may not be fully educated, and it's lane. And there's nothing wrong. I think there's a freedom in just going. You know what? That's not my lane. I'm going to leave it to others, and I'm going to do what I do well and not sound off, because I think there's a lot of people who've beclowned themselves with ridiculous hot takes online, and they very serious to contribute, and maybe in a theological area or some other area, and yet they stepped outside their expertise and kind of made a fool of themselves. Luckily, I have no expertise, so I can just say anything I want.
That's not true. Actually, I was going to ask you about this because you do have an expertise. You are not just an author; you're also an acquisitions editor for Moody Publishers. And I just know as soon as I said that, one of my people are Googling you right now to send you a manuscript. I am telling you, it is happening. I was curious. I wanted to ask you about your expertise in that area. What are you looking for in manuscripts right now? What are your thoughts? I just love to hear, what are your thoughts on like the influencer pipeline in the Christian author industry, just all of it.
Yeah, no, that's a huge topic that we're continually wrestling with, right? Because I mean, we do have a responsibility to make sure we're not platforming, spotlighting voices that are going to be destructive, or and of course, even if the message is good, maybe you're spotlighting someone or you're giving a platform to someone who's going to make a smoking crater of their life and bring a lot of shame to the church and to Jesus, right? So, so that's a sober sort of thing. And as far as like, okay, what are you looking for? It's funny. People always ask me, like, Drew, what kind of books do you guys need? I don't know. I don't know it until I see it. I wish I had an eight ball and I could, go, oh, this is what will work, or this is what the church needs. Unfortunately, it's a little more, I don't know, uh, random than that. But in general, it's like, okay, is the idea good? That I always get like pitches like, hey, Drew, I want to write a book about Christian community. I'm like, whoa, that's a big topic. Uh, and so you have to have kind of a fresh angle on it or something. And then, is there an audience clamoring for it? Are there people that actually need guidance and help and instruction on a certain topic? And then, are you the right person to ask or to tackle this topic? And sometimes that gets into like the platform, which is the dirty P word. And but honestly, I think there's a lot of misunderstandings, because some people think, oh, I have to like have a mega church and be super famous and have a million followers on Instagram. No, what we just want to see is that, are you already speaking to this audience? Even if it's like a Facebook group and a newsletter, are you actually, in the trenches because you care about this topic? We don't want this to be your first communication with people on this topic. So yeah, those are kind of the things we look for. But man, I'll be honest, it's a crapshoot. We don't know what's going to work. Hindsight's 2020. We see something that worked, but we're hopefully educated in our guesses. But it's a murky business for sure that way.